Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome back. This is Retake's Unit 10 exam over angles, and this is for the people that made below a 70 on the Section C multiple choice questions. So let's begin. Alright, triangle CDE is an isosceles triangle. Okay, this word isosceles, it means that two of the sides are the same. That's what these little lines indicate. When you see straight lines going across like that, that means that line CE and line CD are the exact same. And that's what an isosceles triangle is. It means that two sides are the same. Alright, so the measure of angle D is 35. That's the clue that we're given. And we want to know what the measure of angle C is. Okay, so I'm given this clue. But we know that with an isosceles triangle, when two sides are the same, that means that two of the angles also have to be the same. Okay, and it happens to be this angle right here is the same as this angle right here, which means that this angle E has to be 35 degrees. Okay, so we use that knowledge, and then we also use one more piece of information that we should know, one other clue that's true for all triangles. And that is that if you add up all the interior angles, you get 180 degrees. So if I subtract away angle D and I subtract away angle E, I'll be left with angle C. Woo! Okay, so angle E and angle D together, 35 plus 35, will give us 70. So I'm going to take away 70 here, 70 degrees, and whatever left over will be angle C. Okay, 0 take away 0 is 0, 8 take away 7 is 1, and then I bring this one down, and I get 110 degrees. And that is equal to angle C. Now I can double check my work. I can go back in and I can add 35. Let's do that different color. Just to double check, make sure I did this correctly. I can do 35 plus 35. I can add the other two angles back just to make sure that I got the right answer. And 5 plus 0 is 10. Carry the 1. Alright. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Bring down the 1, and I get 180 degrees, and that's true for every triangle. Okay, that means that my answer, 110 degrees, has to be true. That's right. Alright, so remember, an isosceles triangle, two sides are the same. These two angles are the same. I can use that, subtract it away from angle C, and I get 100. I get whatever I take away from 180 degrees, and I get angle C. All right, next question. A line connecting two opposite vertices of a square divides two of the angles of the square into four angles. Okay, so this is a square, and we know for squares that each of the angles are 90 degrees. And for a square, this line dissecting one angle to the next, this is only true for squares, not for any other quadrilateral. But for squares, if I divide an angle, if I draw a line from one vertice diagonally across the other, I'm splitting that angle right in half. Okay, so I have 90 degrees for that angle, and if I'm going to divide it in half, I'm just going to divide it by 2. Okay, so 2 goes into 9 4 times. Gives me 8, and I got 1 left over. Now I'm going to bring down that 0, and 2 goes into, oh, by the way, this is in degrees. 2 goes into 10 5 times. That gives me 10. And I got nothing left over. So my answer is 45 degrees. So What is the measure of each of the 4 angles? It's saying what's the measure of each of these 4 angles right here. Each of those have to be 45 degrees. Okay, so there's my answer choice right there. 45 degrees. Okay. Next question. Which angle has a measure of 45 degrees? There's a strategy for working this out. And if you watch section B, you remember this. If you didn't watch section B, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to cross out this bottom row. Ignore it. Okay? Now, when you get better with protractors, you don't have to do this. The bottom row is actually very useful, and on this problem, it would be useful to use it. But just so that we don't get confused, let's cross out that bottom row. Alright, now we're going to measure where B crosses this protractor. So if it's like a speedometer, it starts here and goes this way, and this one crosses right over that 50 degree. So I want everybody to write 50 degrees right here. Now, as we cross 70, then cross 80, and go this way, this is going to be about, looks like halfway between 80 and 90. So we're going to put 85 degrees. Everyone write that down. Okay. Okay. Now once again, as we cross from 110 to 120, we're getting to 130. It's right on 130. So let's write 130 degrees. And then finally, this is the one that confused a lot of students. We're crossing 140, 150, 160. We're crossing 170, but there's no number here. But if we just go 10 more than 170 is 180. So everybody write 180 degrees there. Alright, so here's the strategy. We're going to answer choices. Let's first start with EAD. E is right here. A and D is right here. So for EAD, we're going to do 180 degrees for E. It's the bigger one. We're going to subtract away 130 degrees. And I want to see all this work on your paper. Write this down. 50 degrees. Okay, so we're looking for 45 degrees. So we can get rid of F. Not true. Okay. Let's see for CAD. We're going to go from C to A to D. D in this case is bigger. So I'm going to put 130 degrees. This one, and I'm going to subtract away 85 degrees. Okay, this is a borrowing problem, so I'm going to borrow from 13 and make it 12. Borrow from 10 or 0, and I'm going to borrowing from the 13, making it 12, and then I'm going to add what I borrowed to the ones digit, so that's going to become 10. So I get 5 and 4, 45 degrees. Okay. That's my answer right there. Now, a good test taker will continue to test out angles BA and C. So let's practice that. Let's do this real quick so we don't take up too much of your time. I know your time is precious, and I respect that. All right, angle BAC. Let's see, BAC. All right, that is 85. Take away 50. Degrees, 35 degrees. We can get rid of that. Okay, and last one, BAD. Where are you, BAD? BAD. 130 and 50. So we do 130. Take away 50. That's 0, 13, take away 5 is 8. That's 80 degrees. We're looking for 45. So, get rid of that one too. Alright, G is our answer. Alright, last but definitely not least, this is the one of the number one missed problems. The quadrilateral PQRS is a trapezoid which with bases PQ and SR. What is the measure of angle PSR? Okay, so when it says what is the angle of measure PSR, I think some of us were getting confused on what that was asking. Here's why this angle is written this way. If we go PSR, we're measuring this entire angle. And And the reason why we could not say what is the measure of angle S is because if we said angle of the measure of angle just S, it could mean two different things. It could mean PSR or it could mean PS and T. And we don't want to know the measure of angle PST. We want to know the measure of angle PSR. So you don't add R, you don't add the angle P. We really want to just know this one right here. Okay, so we know that because this is a right angle right here, that this also has to be right angle. So we know that that is 90 degrees. Okay, now this is 60 degrees right here. This is 90 degrees. So we can use that information to figure out what this angle is. We want to measure that angle right there. And once we find this angle, is angle PST. Once we find that, we add that to this 90 degrees to get the entire angle right here. We don't know that entire angle. Okay, so let's find this angle and add it to 90 degrees. We know that we have 100 and here. We have 180 degrees in a triangle, right? And we have 60 and 90 on these. So if we add that to 60 plus 90, we get 150. So we're adding this angle and this angle together. We add that together, 60 plus 90. That's going to equal 150. So I'm going to subtract away 150 degrees, and I get 30 degrees. So this angle right here is 30 degrees, and I want to know PSR, so I have to take this 30 and add it to this 90 to get the entire angle from here to here. So 30 and 90, let's see, add it together, I get 0, get 120 degrees. There's my answer choice right there, and that's how you do that. Alright, bring your test corrections to class, and thanks for listening. Go back and listen again if you were confused. If you have questions, come see us. Once you watch this video and fill out the forms, you can retake the exam if you did not pass on the overall grade. Thanks for your time.